Shitlords, shit ladies of the internet. It's Jeff, your hamster in a man suit for Gamergate again. Um, I'm actually nothing I'm really pissed off about, just some stuff I've been musing about that I meant to put in the last video, but my special guest star distracted me. I realize if you haven't seen the other video, it looks like my special guest star was my penis by the way I looked down, but now my son came in, but he was in this never mind. So this is mostly going to be a shock of all shocks. If any of you have if you've seen the last videos, it's going to be rambling. I know. Might be a bit coffee. Still getting over being sick. And yes, I put my pinky up. I don't know why. Moving on. I'm still seeing a lot of people arguing that it can't be just about ethics. Well, it can't be about ethics because that's not all we talk about. So we're going to begin with a confession. And this is hard for me. And so I'd like, for you people to sound off if you agree. I can be pissed off about more than one thing at a time. My default assumption, is that everyone can be pissed off about more than one thing at a time. And since a lot of us, our only shared continuity is the actual hashtag Gamergate, we talk in that hashtag in order to communicate with each other things that we think other people in the hashtag might be pissed off about and may wish to be aware of. Therefore, we talk about things and issues other than ethics in the Gamergate hashtag. Because at the end of the day, yes, we want journalistic ethics, but dry humping the corpse of dead teenagers so you can make a ideological point and get yourself on the news and get a little bit more money in your Patreon, I'd call that pretty fucking unethical, but apparently, according to Macintosh, they're not journalists. They shouldn't be fucking under fire. Why? What's the full Macintosh? I don't know if you've seen he actually posted an infographic showing that, since it was created, Thursday of last week, the full Macintosh hashtag has been used 18,000 times. And so he's just like, But I'm not a journalist. We're not journalists. But you're the producer of a game critique show. A series of game critique videos. And if it wasn't for unethical journalism, you wouldn't be nearly as popular as you are. And that's the trick, guys. Everything that's pissing us off, for you anti-Gamergate people, if you're hearing this, which I'm going to guess you aren't because you've been told to cut us out of your lives like Scientology tells people, like cults tell people. If someone disagrees with you, better say goodbye to them because, God damn it, heaven forbid there be anyone in your circle of people that has a differing opinion on anything in creation, right? Then you might have to think for yourself. But if any of you are listening, ethics in journalism fix 99% of the shit we're pissed off about. There are some people who want total obliteration of the SJW existence in journalism. Of course there are. It's been, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years of a slow creep to just the point where there can be no voice but that. When you collapse a group down and you subjugate them long enough and you browbeat them long enough and tell them to be silent when they get a voice, that voice is not going to be happy. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it's not. But for the most part, ethical journalism, SPJ journalism, SPJ in effect, since I'm talking about some fucking ridiculous DJ, but SPJ in effect, most of these clickbaity articles go away. Social justice becomes being moderated by the idea of actual evidence. And so it becomes about social justice again. And and the warriors who aren't about social justice, who are about pushing ridiculous politics and stupid identities of stupid definitions of what identity means and what humanity means and what oppression means and what other things mean. Those people get to go back to Tumblr, and they get out of our goddamn media. Just watch Bill Clinton. For all of you who say we're right wing, and I'm sure this means Bill Clinton's gone right wing, according to you fucks. Bill Clinton actually gave a speech recently saying that the greatest threat to our children in America is the poison of identity politics. I'm paraphrasing because I didn't. It was a Fox News segment that someone fucking linked. I'm not going to sit there and listen to the Fox News commentator more than once. But I'm just another right-wing jackass, right? I'm just another right-wing asshole whose entire life is fed by Fox News, because fuck, when I want my journalism, I want it to be chewed up for me and spat in my eye. That's my problem generally with most of the journalist sites, is the spitting in your eye. But on to other topics. It seems the Escapist may be listening to us very, very quietly. MovieBob does not seem to be presenting news in regards to video game comic book movies anymore. Almost all the Avengers stuff for Marvel seems to be someone else, someone new. And MovieBob is doing his geek culture, this is who this group is, but he's not really reporting much anymore. He's just doing his regular show, and then an occasional segment. So maybe either he's decided that he needs to look for other employment, which would be, I don't know, beneficially Escapist at this point for me. You could find a better movie reviewer. Or, fuck, go get the Cinema Snob to do it. Fuck, just his midnight reviews are funnier than most of the shit MovieBob does. But, hey. So, that's good, if you're interested in Avengers news and don't want to put too much coin in MovieBob's pocket, the Escapist is actually willing to talk to you, let someone else talk to you about the Avengers now. I could probably do a lot of videos on how pissed off I am at the way MovieBob's reaction to this is, and the sheer intellectual cowardice it shows for someone who calls himself an overthinker, but fucking, low-hanging fruit, right? Gotta wear a blindfold to a pinata fight. So, seeing a bunch of random tweets, the Brianna Wu and Milo interviews this week. Brianna Wu going on to David Pakman's show. Pretty sure that's the name. And pretty much having a hissy fit because he's actually asking her questions. His site ends up going down within minutes of her calling out that it was a hit piece. So I can't imagine there's a connection, but I'm sure no one in the games media or the mainstream media is going to look for one. And then part of that was she essentially called out Milo, so Milo got to go on. And he hit Milo pretty hard too, especially at the end with the question on Milo's gender politics. And then, of course, Lana Kerner hopped up, shook her fists in the air about how everyone just excuses him for things, for horrible ideas, and the other side doesn't get that courtesy. The difference is, and I know she's probably never going to see this, but the difference is, he will allow discussion on it. And I don't expect everyone to agree with me, even on basic things. I don't expect you to agree the universe was created by the Big Bang, and a slow progress of things becoming increasingly more complicated over time ultimately formed into the universe, and ultimately informed into life on at least one planet, and likely billions of others, if not innumerable others. I don't believe in a supernatural creator. I don't believe in a soul. I don't believe in a heaven or a hell. I'm an atheist. Until I have evidence to the contrary. But right now, all credible evidence, from my perspective, from my interpretation, suggests no supernatural elements. That said, if you believe them and you've had experiences that suggest them, then I don't tell you you're wrong. I tell you we disagree. I can't tell Nero he's wrong. He's had different life experiences than me, Milo Yiannopoulos. But I can disagree with him. That doesn't mean I tell him to get the fuck out of my house. It doesn't mean I tell him to go shit himself and go die. It means I tell him, we have a disagreement. You have a different opinion. You believe in your opinion. You're willing to discuss your opinion, but your opinion stands. The people on the other side, as she said, will not give us that courtesy. And their differing opinions oftentimes are on things that we can factually show. The head of Wikipedia has come into one of the articles where they claimed that the evidence of that the collusion in the Game Journal Pros list was debunked and corrected that to denied, and states flatly it's clear there's collusion. Some people claiming to be anonymous just did a message today saying, it's Tuesday, saying that who's in charge of this fucking third party that's trolling everybody and causing all the problems, and they're going to be involved now to handle the third party. Whether it's true or not, it's still kind of awesome. It was a neat little video. But that's what's going on. It's not a matter of we're excusing him and saying it's absolutely okay. No, you know what? It is. It is absolutely okay for you to have a different opinion than me. You can have a different opinion of me on sports. You can have a different opinion of me on identity politics. You can have a different opinion of me than religion, sexuality, fucking abortion, fucking gun rights, fucking all of it. We can disagree on all of these things, but there are things I am hardline on, and one of those things is humanity. We can disagree on the nature of crime, the nature of mental illness, the nature of the cause of crimes. But when someone, I can't imagine who I'm referring to, but when someone calls out and says that violent crime is the result of men, toxic masculinity, that violence is a cause of people basically saying, be a man, I have issue. I take issue. I take offense. That's an insult. It's not a difference of opinion. That's a fuck you. And I don't take it. And when called to task on it, her response was, I'm being harassed. When anyone discusses anything with anyone on the other side, it's a, oh God, I'm being harassed. So, sorry, if you don't like the fact that we're not shitting up Milo's ass, it's because he fucking engages. That's it. That's the thing. If he has an opinion, he'll stand by it, but he'll discuss it. Can you point to anyone on the other side who does the same? No, because they don't. Now, granted, maybe you can. I just haven't seen them. Maybe they're just invisible to me. But so yeah, I think his identity politics are a little skewed. I think he's arguing from a biological and not a more emotional standpoint. I don't think it's necessarily wrong, because I don't think people's opinions are necessarily invalidated just because I disagree with them. It's an opinion. That's the whole point. I have an opinion on the nature of the universe. You have an opinion on the nature of the universe. And if they agree, great. And if they don't, great. I'll talk with you about it. I'll discuss it with you. I spent 45 minutes on my front porch discussing the nature of good and evil and the concept of a neutral God with Jehovah's Witness. And at the same time, I made fun of a pair of Mormons to their face because they could not understand. They had never heard of the phrase an atheist. They actually asked me to correct it to agnostic. And when I explained I don't believe in a God because I've never had an experience with God, the response was, well, why don't you pray to God to reveal himself to you? And my response was, for the same reason I don't jump off the balcony and call out to Superman. If you come at me with a valid argument, I'll discuss it with you. But I will mock you if you come at me with something that just sounds silly. Maybe I'm rude. I am. I'm an asshole. I think that's been a theme this entire series of videos. I'm kind of an asshole. We all are. I just wear mine kind of on my sleeve, face, head, and pretty much everywhere. Because I don't give a shit. I stopped giving a shit years ago. That's why I'm a hermit. So yeah. Back to Gamergate. What else is there to talk about, guys? Fuck. Oh, the article today, the Slate article this morning. I think it was this morning or late last night. My days blend together pretty fucking clearly. They've come up with a plan to divide and conquer tactic to bring down Gamergate. They admit that more than half of Gamergate is involved with the harassment patrol and stopping harassment and anti-harassment. And the rest of it's just trolls. Okay. So their big plan to bring it down, since we're calling for ethical reform, what they're going to do is they're going to bring us down by reforming their ethics. And this might offend some people out there. That's like France saying they won World War II. I'm sorry, it is. It's the best way for us to destroy them is to surrender to their arguments. Now, the best way to stop Gamergate, yes, but that's not the argument he's making. He's not saying let's stop. This is going to be what tears them apart. This is going to be how we win, is giving into their basic demands for ethical and integrity in journalism. Great. Are you going to fire the people who wouldn't enforce it before? Because if not, we're going to still be fucking here, asshole. We don't trust you anymore. When we came out and said, hey, you guys should do ethical reform, the first thing you did was slap us in the mouth with your dicks and go, you don't like sausage? You're assholes, you're fucking liars, and you're shitheads, and you gotta go. Ben Kuchera, all you motherfuckers. You've shown no interest in reform, no interest in fucking any of that. You gotta go. Fuck, especially Ian Miles Cheong, who's basically just declared, who the fuck gives a shit about goddamn ethics and journalism? It's fucking games journalism. Well, clearly we do, you fucking shit. It's just ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous to me that just like, well, how we stop them is we do what they say. Yes, you moron. But to stop this fucking... And the reason they're pushing so hard to stop this is because it's very clear that at least a large percentage of us are going to fucking pull off the Black Friday boycott. And if even half of us do it, that's going to be a massive hit. It's going to draw a lot of attention to these sites that are fucking cutting us off, because it's going to look like it's their fault. Because, it is. But, so, kudos. And I think it was Vice did a whole article about how Archive today is piracy. It's piracy. I don't know if it is or isn't, because part of piracy is profit. Part of copyright infringement is profiting. But in several nations, in several circumstances, it can also be denying someone, a creator, the ability to profit from their content. But for the most part, it's profiting from content. So what you guys do, and this is what you do, if this worries you, if this bothers you, if you agree with her that maybe this is going a little far, give the original link and the archive link, and when they say, well, that's which link they're going to use, go look. You might take the article down. People have. Your site might fucking get too much traffic. It happens all the goddamn time. Any number of things could fucking happen. This way, we've got access to the link if your site goes down. Now, we know why you're doing it is to at the advertise at their them getting ad money, and yes, it's to inhibit them from profiting from hit articles and bullshit articles. We will go to a site and a link that is a balanced article, even at sites we don't like. But when you fucking crap a hit piece out on our front door, fuck the Slate article. Everyone, there's no archive links that I saw for that. My final word, probably, is to, of course, Mr. Phil McIntosh himself, in his most recent statement that, and his cronies, Christina Hoff Sommers is not a real feminist. Because she doesn't agree with his views. She's anti-feminist. And no. That's pretty well established by her career and her volume of work and her writings and her history and her fucking life. And then first comment on it that I saw was Ian Miles Cheung going, well, yeah, she's a right wing who says she hates women. Of course she's right in line with them. It's like, one more time, asshole, she's a registered fucking Democrat. She's a goddamn fucking researcher at the James Randi Foundation, which is a skeptic society. What a shock. She's skeptical of a form of feminism that portrays women as fragile, delicate, breakable, shatterable pieces of fucking porcelain that have to be protected at all times, rather than fucking equals. Because that's what it was about. When feminism started, when feminism continued through the 60s and 70s, it wasn't about, oh my god, put us on a pedestal and praise us and never question us and worship us and get down on your goddamn knees. It was, leave us alone, treat us like everyone else. That's what all these civil rights movements were. They were treat us like anyone else. Don't treat us special. And people like McIntosh and this third wave bullshit, this identity feminism bullshit, it's not about being an equal anymore. It's about being in power. Well, guess what? Reversal isn't equality. So you're not an equal rights movement. So what I think is, since it's McIntosh behind Feminist Frequency, I would like to infer, and I'd like for the word to get out, that full McIntosh may be a side effect of his internalized misandry. And his cognitive dissonance over the idea that at the same time he's a great thinker and powerful voice, but at the same time, as that, he's also a weak, pathetic, limp-dicked, child of a man, rapist, shooter, terrorist, monster. Which one of them is the victim? Anita or John? I'd like to think they're just combined, they equal a whole person, since she can't be questioned, otherwise she's being harassed and tormented and terrorized. And he can't be questioned because he can't be wrong, but at the same time, she's perfect, and he's a flawed monster. So maybe combined together, maybe they do make a whole person in their own minds. But I reserve being a whole person for just me. I don't need anyone else in here. I have my wife to keep me sane. She grounds me very well psychologically, as best as anyone else has. So, yeah. Hopefully you'll see her sometime soon, but probably not. She hates cameras more than I do, and way the fuck more than he does. But otherwise, yeah. It's a fucking good weekend for Gamergate. Good fucking time for Gamergate right now. We're not going anywhere. We're not shutting up. We're not quieting down. And the only thing you can do to stop us is to just listen to us. Because it's all we fucking wanted from the beginning. You're our voice, and you failed. So time to fucking listen. And then verify what we say. But fucking listen. And everything will be alright. So let's keep those emails. Oh, FTC. Federal Trade Commission. See, that wasn't my last word. Gawker is now hiding their ads, so we can't contact their advertisers. So they're not actually advertising on their site, but they're still getting the traffic ad for it. So contact the FTC too. Make sure they're aware. Make sure you screenshot images, as well as archive, so we can get that word out, and maybe they can get in trouble with the federal government a little bit more. So have some fun with that, guys.